risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. To my right is Scholar Tarek. How's it going, sir?
I think you should be more clear on your introductions, fool. The former Scholars of Wrestling champion, Scholar Jeff.
Well, I think it goes without saying because I didn't mention it, but
I had to bring it up.
Of course you did. Because Lord knows we wouldn't actually bring it up before or later on in the show. But yes, Extreme Rules has not been kind to me personally, but it has been very kind to one Scholar Brian, who is the new Scholars of Wrestling champion. But we're going to talk about all his path to glory later on tonight. But first, I wish he could be here in person so I could hand over the belt in person as it was conferred to me.
He already had the belt, though.
Yes.
Granted, it was in a fridge. Good job, Brian.
Yeah. I'm trying to be a graceful...
And now he's been nonstop texting me. I'm trying to be
graceful in defeat.
He's been nonstop texting me, just pictures. He's B-teaming with the Scholars of Wrestling Championship, and next thing you know, I just see him with Red Bull, or in his case, Monster, and beer. That's been his week. Good for him. Good for you, Brian. Good for you. And well, he may have won the championship, but also I was declared a winner of the prediction show, and I'm always a winner when I have the Scholars of Wrestling, the Mr. Scholar in the Bank.
It's not going to be anything until you cash it in, buddy.
Oh, it's just how Braun Strowman just goes on and just saying he doesn't need to insert himself in a number one contender match. He has the briefcase. I didn't need to be in this in the title match for Extreme Rules because I have this briefcase. And I will continue to love it, stroke it, until that final moment when I cash this baby in and declare myself a two-time Scholars of Wrestling champion.
Yes, sure. You can talk about your belts and fridges, and you can talk about your Scholars in the Bank briefcases and all you want. All I know for certain is we are only a few short weeks away from SummerSlam, an event where the belt can and will be defended no matter what. Isn't that right?
You didn't need to add in the can, but it will be defended for all three of us.
Well, I'm rolling stream of consciousness right now.
Okay.
That's what I do. I'm tired. I'm running on 4 cups of coffee. I want to talk about wrestling and the fact that, as far as I'm concerned, at SummerSlam, I'm going to make it my mission to not only get that belt back, but make it the prestige, and really show it off as the prestigious title that it is. I will carry that belt proudly.
Are you saying that I did not?
I'm saying that... Anyway, let's...
I win! I finally shut you up.
You only shut me up because I'm within striking distance. But make no mistake about it, I will get that belt back.
Man, that sounds so familiar. It feels good to now know that I have also a former champion declaring his mission now to regain that title, but my mission is closer to completion, if you know what I mean. I'll just keep bringing this baby out so many times because as much as Brian doesn't want to admit it, it's still here. His chance in that spotlight is very, very short.
You sleep with that thing, don't you?
Are you kidding? I have sex with that thing all the time.
Well, speaking of extreme things, let's move on to results of
this week. You can't get any more extreme than that.
Oh, I certainly hope not. But anyway, the WWE has certainly tried with 2018's edition of Extreme Rules. Let's just go over the results already. Starting with the pre-show, we had Andrade Cien Almas being booked at the very last minute to go over Sin Cara.
This was actually a really good match.
Honestly, it seriously was better than I was expecting. Probably because I feel like it's been a while since I've actually seen Sin Cara in whatever his forms on TV.
There really isn't very much to say about this. It was a very good match. These two definitely know how to work with each other. Granted, their SmackDown match I felt was just a little bit better, probably just because they were given more time. But yeah, the right man won, and he just proved how awesome he can be on this yesterday's episode of SmackDown Live against AJ Styles, and hopefully that gets him out of the fact that he hasn't been shown in weeks. And he's been facing jobbers and Sin Cara. Now, hopefully, this will lead to something greater for him.
Yeah, well, considering that he went from facing Sin Cara on the pre-show to having a match with AJ Styles, I take that as a sign of hope that at least he's going to be upgrading and he's going to be moving on to something bigger and better. Anyway, moving on to the next match, we've got Sanity defeating the New Day.
I honestly don't have anything to say about this. The right team won.
Yeah, once again, I got the impression that these two matches were among the more predictable ones on the card, at least for us.
Oh, yeah. And it was predictable for everyone because, both the guys who won needed to win. And they continued that streak with an actually very fun singles match between Kofi Kingston and Eric Young. Did you watch that one?
No, I actually did not.
It was actually a very fun match. Sanity and New Day were involved somehow outside the ring, and it led to what was it? Wow, I'm blanking out on his name. Killian Dane.
Yeah, the big guy.
Yeah, Killian Dane throwing Xavier Woods while Eric Young in the ring was throwing Kofi Kingston, and next thing you know, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, boom, hit each other, and that allowed Eric Young to do that wheelbarrow neck breaker, which is an awesome move. I love that move. And to secure another victory and hopefully keep this winning streak going for Sanity.
Mm-hmm. I really want these guys to be built up, as so many other of the newbies that are coming in from NXT. They all deserve a shot.
Other than their promos before they stopped with the promos and we had to wait another few weeks for them to actually debut, have they been on the mic?
Not that I can recall lately. Unless there's a random segment that I must have missed if I was out of the room for a specific segment of Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing them doing any promos or backstage segments, but I may have been in the same boat with you. I may have just been away from the TV, or because I'm watching SmackDown late at night, I probably drifted off.
Like, given how much content that WWE is producing these days, I mean, it had to happen eventually. You can't possibly keep track of 5 or 6 hours of wrestling every single week.
It's not even just that. I do manage to catch up for the sake of the show, but it's very rare now that I watch the shows live, especially if you've been following my Twitter reactions for the shows. They're like an hour late after what's happened. And it's just not because, I got my 2 little ones to try and knock out before I start watching these shows.
Life just gets in the way no matter who you are.
The father life is very difficult, but I still love it, and I love these kids.
I question your sanity if you said anything else. But in the meantime, back in the wrestling world...
sanity. I get that.
I wish I meant that as a pun.
Well, I took it as a pun, and it would actually fit very well.
I'm hilarious. Moving on, we also have, in a surprising twist, the B Team defeated Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt to become the new Raw Tag Team Champions. Did you honestly have any hint that this was coming?
Not at all. I was actually very surprised at that. And I was also surprised at how short this match was. And it just seems like, another miscommunication with Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy, which just leads to the B Team winning, which, it caught me completely off guard. I wasn't a huge fan of it at first, but because I just personally feel that the B Team has kind of lost their edge just as quickly as they gained it. And I'm just hoping Bray and Matt actually have these guys be as a transitional championship. This is the only time where I actually will be okay with them hot potatoing a belt, or in this case, belts.
Yeah, I'm under the impression right now that it seems like they're hinting at a reunion between Matt and Jeff Hardy. Now that they can basically kickstart the Broken Universe again.
They hinted at them getting back together.
Yeah, didn't after the Randy Orton's attack on Jeff Hardy, I think he was tweeting something about him being broken.
He's been saying that for the past couple episodes of SmackDown. He's actually really emphasizing on this one because of Shinsuke Nakamura. But he's been going on the fact that he's a different person. He has the contacts in for the past couple weeks. I don't look at it as just them hinting at getting back together. It's just them hinting that they're still a part of the Broken Universe. Just the universe spreads throughout WWE.
Yeah, and just the fact that they're going with that, unless it's a red herring or something, my gut says they're sort of toying with the idea that they're gonna reunite them.
I don't look at it as reunite. It's just the fact that they're in that universe, just on different shows.
They're going to associate them together somehow. Possibly.
I mean, they still when Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy first got together, Bray called him Brother Nero. So it's still, and before Jeff went all crazy with the makeup, he was just as much part of the Broken Universe. So, yeah. But when it comes to the B team being tag team champions, it's kind of hard to really take it seriously. Mainly just because they've been booked as such a comedy skit, and being just nothing more than lackeys for the Miz when Miz was still on Raw. It's kind of hard to really take it fully seriously. I would kind of say it's kind of a Jinder Mahal feeling to it, but the difference is we're actually they don't really treat the tag team championships that well, at least on the side of Raw. But yeah, it's interesting just because I like Curtis Axel and I like Bo Dallas. Give them this rub, but yeah, if anything, do we really want to see the B team versus Authors of Pain at SummerSlam?
I kind of do, just to see him get destroyed.
If you want to see it that way, sure.
Again, this to me is one of those situations that it's all going to come down to what the payoff is. If they stick the landing with this and they come up with something interesting in terms of their next feud or the next blow-off for the B team, that is how I'm going to appraise their current title reign.
Honestly,
could be bad, could be good.
For me personally, what they've been hinting at, it looks like it's possibly going to be a fatal four-way between B Team, the Leaders of Worlds, Authors of Pain, and the Revival. Because even though the Revival is not being involved with them promo-wise, when they're having their matches, you see the Revival studying them. They show bits of Revival backstage watching these matches, like I said, studying them. So there are small hints of possibilities of being a fatal four-way for SummerSlam. And it's it's the four teams that actually matter on Raw. The rest are just jobber teams.
Again, I was about to say I'd be cool with that if that's what they end up doing. Hey, if that's a payoff, then cool. Works for me. Moving on to the next match, we've got Finn Balor defeating Baron Corbin. I got a feeling that this is another very predictable one.
I would say that I just gotta stop. It's Daniel Bryan and Big Cass all over again. That's pretty much what this feud is built on. The fact that Baron Corbin's a tall guy. That's really it. And I gotta stop looking at these storylines as like, okay, they're trying to build